Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another Degrassism. Today I look at the top 10 missed storylines in Degrassi history, as in either they didn't follow up on storylines, or missed opportunities, as in to create storylines and all that. So I went through um, someone's Reddit post. I can't remember whose it was, but anyway, it said missed opportunities and all that. And so I wrote down which ones looked good, and then I added a few of my own because I'm like, I got, oh yeah, this and this and this. So it was down to 12. I had 12 storylines and all that. So I decided to do two polls of six, and the top three from each poll got to qualify for the final six, as in the poll rankings, and then 7 to 10. I decided to just do top 10. 7 to 10 were on my head, like I would choose. All right, so the two storylines that were in the polls that did not make the list, top 10, was Manny's brother and Yates' victims. Manny's brother, because Manny mentions at times in the first few seasons that she has a brother, and we don't even know about the brother. Now, the possible feeling is Manny's brother may have went back to the Philippines, because in season 3, when Manny said she was pregnant to Spike, she also mentions that she had a cousin named Mary who accidentally got pregnant and was sent to a convent far, far away. And Manny thought she was headed for the Philippines. But thankfully, though, her mother understood and got her the abortion. And then Yates' victims. In season 13, Yates was preying on Tristan and Winston. Maya told on Yates. Tristan thought that Maya was just jealous about Tristan and all that, saying that, why must you be jealous about Miles? There are plenty of boys that want to be with you. And he made Maya grovel to him. Pathetic. All right, so here we go. M. So remember, 7 to 10 is my ranking, just based on what I think, and then the top 6 is by the poll. All right, so number 10 was the deep dive into Yale's non-binary actions. Now, this was the end of Next Class Season 18. Well, I call it Season 18 because 14 seasons, Degrassi plus 4, Next Class. But anyhow, Yale started becoming non-binary. Basically, Yale put pronouns as in they and them, and basically described her as myself or something like that. Hunter was dating Yale, and Hunter unfortunately had everyone laugh at him, saying that if Yale's non-binary, what does that make you? Hunter breaks up with Yale, and a lot of people thought that Hunter was just being homophobic, but no, Hunter just wanted to be around a girl, and Yale didn't give him a straight answer about the whole, are you a boy or you a girl? Because if it was a girl, then yeah, you're fine, and then you're a boy, then Hunter would say, well, you're a boy, then I shouldn't be with you. Yeah, everyone thought Hunter was just misogynistic and all that. Hunter was a jerk in a sense, but he just liked girls. Like they're not. Now the reason why I put that as a missed storyline is because, well, we all know that the LGBTQ2 plus or whatever the new letters are, because I've heard it's different nowadays. Fuck. There wasn't really talk about non-binary when Degrassi Next Class Season 4 happened. So yeah, it would have been nice to see about Yale's actions and all that, how it would be more to today's action. But remember, Degrassi has been off the air for a few years. Number 9 is Toby's PTSD from season 4. I hate that this actually didn't make the list, the top 6. But that's the way the draw happened. And, I was not too pleased. This is a giant missed storyline. Because, Toby in season 4 had no friends. JT dumped him off for Danny, aka Liberty's brother, and then he's paired up with Rick for a project, and he's on the Quiz Bowl team, and they both find they like role-playing dice and role-playing games, which is funny because Toby knows that Rick is the guy who hurt Terry, but then, he gravitates towards Rick, I guess because of the geek culture. But anyhow, Toby wins the kissing bet, gets the dice, and then, is there. But then Toby just happens to be with Emma and Sean walking nonchalantly while Rick has a gun and points it at Emma, wants to kill her. Toby tries his best to alleviate the situation, but it sounded very meek to me. And then, Rick nearly pulls the trigger on Emma, and then Sean basically saves the day. Now, they did talk about Toby's problems in Back in Black in season 4 because, Toby did their job. And then said about if I really Rick's friend, like my friend died, but he's a psycho and all that. He was questioning himself and all that. I know Back in Black kind of talked about it, and that JT realizes that Toby would have been easy prey for Rick because of his negligence. So anyway, it's just hard pressed. And then, we don't get to know much about Toby. He gets JT back as friend, and then season 6, JT gets stabbed and dies, and Toby gravitated towards Liberty. They both were grieving, and grieving sometimes brings weird relationships. And Toby was shafted. So much so in season 7 that he wasn't even in the main opening credits. Why? I don't know. But yeah, it would have been nice because Toby, we would have needed to see him wrestle with friendships and all that. But I guess the JT friendship was good enough. I don't know. That's what the writers say. Number 8 on the list is Lucas's redemption. I always regain that this is one of the biggest missed opportunities in Degrassi history. Because Lucas in season 6 and 7 was portrayed as a teen dad who didn't really get along with his kid. He didn't want to take care of his kid and all that. He had issues up in yin yang. And he was one of the tormentors of Snake when Snake was cleared of Darcy's wrongdoing. Lucas was a prick and all that. And I don't know why Mia wanted to go back with him. And, with Isabella. Lucas didn't want to be involved with Isabella. That season 8 episode, Jane says, the two-parter, the first part, it's like he ignores his kid. And all that. It's like, what the fuck? Lucas is happy to have his dad back in his life. Maybe that's what will snap Lucas out of his problems. Because Jane's embarrassed by Lucas's actions. Well, she's not Jane Fawn, she's Anastasia Filari. Regardless of that, Jane realizes she was molested by her dad. She manages to get Lucas to realize that, and then when Lucas sees his dad close to Isabella, he's like, "Oh my God, he might get to Isabella." He's like 3 or 4 years old and impressionable. So Lucas finally realizes it and tells his dad, "Stay out of our lives." So they get to family therapy. Lucas feels terrible and tells Jane how terrible he feels. Jane says that she gives him a pass because A, they were kids at the time, Lucas didn't know anything. And B, Lucas is here now. Like, at least he's not running away from the problem. And, that's the worst part. That episode was the last time we saw Lucas in a Degrassi episode, and he vanished. And I just wish we knew if Lucas got his act together, maybe became a better teen dad and all that to Isabella. Well, Mia had Isabella when she was with Peter in season 9. So maybe Lucas doesn't make much of an effort. I don't know. And number 7, the one that got pissed off that didn't make the top 3 in the other list was Emma's PTSD and her problems. I did talk about this in Cutter Degrassi Unpopular Opinion number, 150 was it for internalizing things? I think it was 150 or 175. Can't remember. I think it was 150. But regardless of that, this was harsh. I mean, Emma in season 4 had a bad break. Like, she and Chris broke up over the summer, and then she didn't want Chris dating Liberty because what would that do to her social life? It's like, what? Since when do you care if other people date stuff? I know that Emma cared too much about Sean moving on from her in season 3, and then Chris called her out on her bullshit. But still, I mean, Emma has issues. And people said that Emma started having a glow up and she realizes that Manny's popular, so why can't she have what Manny has? So anyway, Manny and Liberty break off with her. Emma is down in the dumps. She gravitates to Paige's friend group to get rid of Rick because Rick should not have been back at Degrassi in the first place. Emma does the Orange Ribbon campaign. She sees dollar signs when Rick wants to give her everything in the account. I guess probably trying to buy his forgiveness. And Alex rightfully rips up the check and rips into both Emma and Rick. And then, that's the problem. And then, Emma gets kicked out of the clique for protecting Rick from a beating. And so Emma gravitates towards the Quizbowl team of Rick, Toby, and Heather to be replaced by Jimmy. And then, Emma doesn't fully understand Rick's advances towards her, holding her hand creepily, whispering, "This is for you," creepily. I don't really want to do it because it's kind of creepy. So anyway, after the Painted Feathers Emma tries to calm Rick down, and then Rick plants a kiss on her, and Emma says, "I pity you, get a clue." And then that's when Rick goes after Emma. Now remember, if Rick wanted to go after Emma, first and foremost, he would have went after Emma first and not Paige. Let me remind you of that. But anyway, Rick went after Emma and nearly shot her, but Sean saved the day. Emma was melancholy and all that. She seemed to be fine. Like, okay, she's fine for a few episodes. I mean, she does get upset when Sean goes back to Wasaga Beach. So does Ellie. But, like, Emma, is withdrawn. And Perino tells her she's really withdrawn in secret. And then, Emma decides to go down to the ravine with Jay. I guess it's a link to Sean because and it does prove that Emma wanted to be with Sean in the aftermath of the Rick murder situation. I mean, Sean saved her life. Survivor's guilt? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, she had problems dealing with it, getting past it. It took her a while to get past it. Before a gonorrhea attack kind of cured her, quote unquote. And then you got yourself the fact that the PTSD was kind of there for the eating disorder because Emma needed to control it all then. And Emma couldn't control the Rick situation. She tried to, but she couldn't. And then season 6, when Manny leaves the house in disarray, well, after Jakey's stabbing, Emma thought that she's losing Manny forever. And you wanted to control Manny. Fair enough. And she causes a commotion. Snake calls her out on it. Manny calls her out on it. But Emma just realizes she's missing an ally. But the fact of the matter is, Emma had the right to get angry. I mean, Manny should have listened to Emma's stuff because maybe Emma would have cooled off. I think she would have. So yeah, the PTSD was there, and that's kind of why, Emma was clingy towards friends and boys because, she was kind of friendless in a sense, and she didn't have a boyfriend. So maybe that was it. I don't know. All right, so now it's top 6 time. And I'm going to read you up. 269 votes in this poll. First place, the difference between first place and second place is high, and second to third. But here's the funny thing. I think this is the first time I've ever had this, that, in a poll, we had the bottom 4 being so close, too close to call. Like, this is amazing. Okay, so I'll tell you right now. Numbers 5 and 6 both had 31 votes. But since I get to break the tie, and I will break the tie, and the tie is broken, and number 6, the lower of the two, is Esme's issues. All right, so Esme was portrayed, what was it, Next Class Season 2 she started, I think? Yeah, as being manipulative, getting people into trouble, basically crying for attention, that kind of stuff. Esme realized that her mom killed herself in front of Esme when she was 10, and Esme does save Maya after Maya's suicide attempt in Season 3 of Next Class, or Season 17. And, she feels good about herself. She tells Sake, don't force her to vomit. She might choke on her vomit, which is true. So then Maya is okay, but Esme starts to get jealous of Maya. Both the fact that people gravitated towards Maya instead of Esme, even though Esme saved Maya's life, and the fact that maybe Sake wants to go towards Maya. Although Sig and Maya's thing was kind of accidental, Maya didn't want to cause trouble, but Esme should be with Sig. Good for her. And Maya does, help Esme tell Miss Growl about Esme's problems. And then in the series finale, Esme buys a motorcycle for Sig and is upset that Sig says you should get help. And then Growl says it's never too late to admit your mistakes. And Esme collapses in Growl's arms. And Maya says, I had to tell about Esme. I had to. It was in my blood. And I think it was because, Maya was saved. Esme saved Maya in a sense. So I guess Maya owed it to Esme. Speaking of Maya, that ended up being number 5. Maya not telling people her problem. Oh, shoot. I should have said Esme's issues were not talked about. Well, I mean, Degrassi did end after Next Class, so, she deserved better. Anyway, number 5 was Maya not telling people her problems were due to Cam by name. I think I did a few unpopular opinions on this, but yeah, that's the thing. In season 14, when Maya went off the rails, being overprotective. Yeah, season 13 as well, but not as much. See, like Cam killed himself in season 12. Maya felt upset and decided to move on with Miles, had troubles with Miles and Zoe in season 13. And then season 14, she's back with Miles. And then Maya starts to want to protect her friends from harm and all that. And then in her dream, she sees Miles jumping off the balcony or slashing himself and thinks that, oh my God, this is going to happen again. So Miles makes a post saying, God, kill me because he was sick. And Maya wants to help Miles, but then Miles ghosts her on social media. She needs to protect things. Sig and Sawyer are not too happy with the thing, but Maya says, no, I can't have this happen again. So she breaks into Miles' house to protect him and all that. Tristan didn't seem to care. I don't know why. And then when Miles got in trouble because he crashed his car into what would end up being Dallas's girlfriend's car with Dallas's son, and Maya protected Miles, and then you know Miles told the truth, and Maya was perjury. Everyone was upset with her, saying that why would you do this? Miles needs help. It's okay to be concerned, but don't let it ruin your life. Yeah, it took a police officer and Maya's mom to tell Maya she needs to calm down. And then after Firestarter, which Miles kind of gets revenge on his dad, he tells Maya, check up on me every so often. And Maya smiles, saying, nah, you're good. And in a sense, I think that's when Maya realized that, she got over her guilt. She helped Miles, and then her guilt about Cam is destroyed. But then, unfortunately, that bus crash happened, and then Maya went back into depression by season 3 of Next Class. All that. But of course, the big issue is not telling her problems by name. I mean, okay, Maya was justified with not doing everything by name and all that. Yeah, and there's a big fury. Well, Gone with Goose with Bagpipes, excuse me, said, I understand why Maya never talked about camp. Basically, just her maintaining the same feeling she held at the vigil when she said she wouldn't cry or light a candle. But nobody in her life, when she started having panic attacks, but Miles Safety thought, oh, is this because of camp? And no, hey, Miles, you're kind of and also didn't say, hey, Miles, you're making Miles nervous. And another one of her boyfriends might kill himself. Because, yeah, that happened last year. Everyone who was still around for season 12, just let her be crazy of, oh, Maya, without contextualizing it for others. That's the problem. I personally think that was weird. And Responsible Ad says, it makes me so mad when I get to that part. She is literally going through her boyfriend's suicide and not a mention of it being reason for a problem. Like, nobody once said, hey, maybe because this is because of her boyfriend dies by his own court. And no one put 2 and 2 together. That's got to be big. Like, okay, yeah, Maya, they should have figured it out. And Maya should have said Cam's name because maybe she would have got some sympathy. Who knows? All right, so number 4 with 32 votes instead of 31 is the not enough insight into Johnny's role post season 6 of the JT staffing. Now, Johnny was one of the troublemakers at Lakehurst when Lakehurst had the rivalry with Degrassi for a few episodes because JT was dating Mia, who was the ex-girlfriend of a gang leader from Lakehurst named Nick. Now, of course, I got everything mixed up, thinking Lucas was the one who wanted JT hurt, but no, it was Nick. Nick was the one before Lucas impregnated Mia. But anyway, yeah, there was a giant fight and all that. There was Liberty's birthday party thrown by Manny and Emma. And then, Lakehurst came in. Degrassi kind of kicked them out. And then Toby and JT talk about things. Toby says, go after Liberty for JT. And I guess JT realizes that, if he lets Nick win with Mia, maybe there wouldn't be a rivalry. Unfortunately, Drake Lampley, a redhead, and Johnny DeMarco piss on JT's car, and then Drake decides to stab him in the aorta and killing him. Johnny is shocked by everything. And, it was hard pressed. It's like Johnny DeMarco just saw one of his friends, so-called friends, stab someone and kill him. So, of course, Drake Lampley is never mentioned again. He's basically serving jail for killing JT, I suppose. I think Johnny DeMarco actually may have gotten in trouble, too. I think he got in trouble, but I think he also copped a deal when he would tell everyone about what Lampley did. Now, of course, you'll be asking, so what about Nick? He was never mentioned or seen after that episode. Well, my headcanon says that Nick must have got in trouble for maybe he conspired to have JT hurt and, well, not killed, but hurt, and that is conspiracy, and that is trouble for Nick. But I mean, if Vince can get out of jail after shooting Adam, then that's not it. But anyway, yeah. Johnny did talk about in season 7 at Brad Camp about his feelings about being there when Drake Lampley stabbed JT in the aorta, but nothing else. Johnny never broke down or mentioned, or we even figured about Johnny's role post JT stabbing. A lot of people said that he might have been a main antagonist, but he was there, but not too much there. I mean, he had a relationship with Ellie, Ollie. Fuck, I didn't say it. All right, but anyway, number 3 with 33 votes was Kendra. Now, of course, Kendra is one of the most famous Black Hole characters in Degrassi history. She was introduced in season 2 as the adoptive sister of Spitter Mason, and Toby having eyes literally on Kendra, and liking Kendra, and then just smothering Kendra. I guess maybe Toby's thinking that no girl's going to be with me, and Toby had family problems and all that. He's probably thinking that if he doesn't do anything, he's going to end up unhappy like his parents. Toby had trauma about that, so Toby lost weight to try to improve his social standing and to be with Kendra. That didn't work out so well. Well, he still got Kendra, but Toby was decent towards Kendra, and then she didn't get many episodes in season 3, and then season 4 she was off the earth. Like Toby said that he and Kendra broke up. Okay, fine, but nothing else. No mention of Kendra's house. Season 4, not even Spinner saying anything. That's pathetic. Kendra deserved better, and all that. And allegedly, one of the executives at CTV must have got pissed off about her and wanted her off the show. Why? I don't get it. Because the old theory was that Kendra was kicked. Kendra's actress left the show because her parents didn't like a potential sexual storyline between Toby and Kendra. But yeah, that's the rumor. No. All right. Okay, so number 2 by a long shot over number 3. Number 2 with 50 votes was Connor's parents. Who were they, and what was the connection to Snake? All right, so Connor was introduced in season 8 of Next Class. They decided to do the gifted class, and they wanted to do the big 4 pairing. They did Emma, Sean, Jake, Toby, and I guess Manny. And then they decided to go with Claire, Ollie, Casey, and Connor as a friend group to kind of mirror season 1 of Degrassi. But the simple fact is Connor was introduced. Snake says, "This is my godson, Connor. He's going to be in the gifted class. Have fun." But we don't get to know anything about Connor's parents and all that. Yeah, they let Snake care for Connor while he's at the school and all that. But where were they originally, and who were his parents? People speculated that because they Snake's brother must have done something about it. But Snake's brother was gay. Maybe they adopted Connor and all that. Like gays adopting. But the problem is that was not, I think, prominent in Canada until the late 90s. And I think Connor would not have been old enough and all that. Or unless Connor was an orphan. I don't know. Now, Connor's parents. People figured that Lucy was Connor's mother, but I don't know. Might happen. I mean, Connor was black. But yeah, people theorized that Snake's brother might have been the father. But no, that's not true. Not every time that happens. You don't have to have any family relations for someone to be a godson. I know for certain that a good friend of my sister-in-law, Marlene and Everett, my brother, a good friend is the godmother of Bentley, my nephew, who just turned 11 this past day. So yeah, like that. Or in my case, I remember one time going down to the baseball game, the Diamond family baseball game down in Oakville, before we went to the Jays, and my Aunt Carol, who is my dad's sister, said that he had her godson Liam was coming to the game. I'm like, okay. So anyway, yeah, so that's it. A godson doesn't mean that it's like a family member to take care of it, because it could be someone not family more than often than not. Let's see here. There was a lot of Connor talk about it. There there was an exchange in my post between Mr. Future Dreamer and Star La Luna. And, yeah, who granted that honor to Snake? And Star Luna said he was close to Michelle and maybe BLT, and they had a kid. Could be it. Godson because of Michelle. So yeah, there was wild speculation and all that. Maybe Connor's parents could be friends from university or colleague he met back when he started teaching. So yeah, maybe it was some kind of university thing. Well, that's for sure. And number one by a long shot at 92 votes is Terry not having much input in the Rick Murray storyline, not being inputted into the storyline. Of course, it's a Rick Murray storyline thing I gotta talk about, like I always do. But the simple fact is that, how often was Terry mentioned in the show in season 4? How often was she met? How often did people talk about her? She wasn't seen in season 4. So, of course, we all know about the Rick and Terry thing that Rick put Terry's head on a rock in season 3, put her in a coma. She comes out of it decently. And then Rick comes back all willy-nilly in Mercy Street in season 4, and people are shocked about it. And the simple fact is that, they were upset Rick was back in school, especially what happened to Terry. And then in that scene that was stupidly a deleted scene that CTV didn't want to put in their finished product, Marco and Alex, who are the student council president and vice president respectively, tells Radich this is a stupid idea. And all Radich says is Terry went to private school, can't talk about matters. And the simple fact is, he hasn't had a criminal charge against him, and without one, if someone does not have a criminal charge, he or she will stay at my school, like it or not. Like, I understand, and Radich is just being honest. I don't blame him for that. I mean, it does seem like he's just backtracking and trying to duck the question, but that's the way people are going to think. Regardless of that, Rick asks Paige about Terry, and Paige runs off crying in the bathroom. And all that. But yeah, I mean, justice for Terry, fair enough. I get it. Paige had a reason to get mad at Rick. Spinner even had a reason to get mad at Rick because of what happened when the aftermath and Rick running off into the woods. I mean, Alex had a point of bullying Rick because, her mother was always being picked on by her ex-boyfriends and they had to live in women's shelters and all that. And Jay had no connection. He was just there for the fun of it, to maybe bring the Candy Bandits into high regard and basically fill Spinner's head with stuff that Spinner and Jimmy's relationship faltered at the time. So yeah, it's well, how would Terry feel? The biggest what if, I think, is what if Terry knew about this situation with Rick, and what would Terry's reaction be? Would Terry ask him to stop? I bet you if Terry relayed the message to Paige to stop and all that, maybe Paige stops. Because Paige is we have to do what Terry says. I feel like if Terry had input or something about that, like a relay message saying that Terry doesn't like it, then I think things would have been bigger. But the simple fact is, Terry got bit. The producers, someone at CTV didn't like her and took her off in season 4, which pissed me off. I mean, yeah, I know Christina Schmidt is an alumnus of the same high school as me, Waterloo Oxford School in Baden, Ontario, Canada. I must say Canada because there's a lot of Americans probably watching this. But the simple fact is that, Terry got done dirty. She was really done bad. I mean, yeah, about Kendra, but what about Terry? I mean, she was really done dirty. Yeah, Liberty and the minority students didn't get helped by the writers. But, that's what the problem is. So, yeah, Terry definitely deserved better mention in the season 4 storyline because maybe it makes things change. But they all wanted to do a Columbine-like storyline, so what can you do? Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeff Diamond.